The desert stretched endless beneath the ruthless Arizona sun, dust swirling around a half-dead woman lying among rocks and thorns. Her dark hair clung to her face matted with blood and sand. She was Apache, left for dead, her body broken and spirit fading. Overhead vultures circled lazily, waiting for the end. When hooves echoed in the distance, she didn't open her eyes. She thought it was death coming. But it was a white man, a cowboy in a torn brown coat, hat tilted low, reins gripped tight as he reined in beside her, shocked at the sight. He dismounted fast, kneeling beside her fragile body. Her breath came shallow, chest rising weakly. The man's weathered face softened as he brushed away sand from her lips. "Don't give up, darlin'," he murmured. He poured water gently over her cracked mouth, and her eyelids fluttered open, revealing eyes the color of burning amber. She whispered something in Apache, a prayer maybe, before darkness claimed her again. The cowboy, name of Luke Callahan, didn't hesitate. He lifted her into his arms, feeling the weight of more than just a wounded body. He rode through the desert with her cradled against his chest, his horse stumbling through uneven ground. By nightfall, he reached his lonely ranch, a small cabin under a ridge, the only sign of life for miles. Inside, he laid her on his bed, lit the oil lamp, and cleaned her wounds with trembling hands. Arrow cuts across her back told him what had happened. She'd been punished, exiled, left as a warning. He muttered a curse under his breath at the cruelty of men who called themselves warriors. For days, Luke cared for her in silence. He cooked broth, changed bandages, and spoke softly, though she couldn't answer. He learned her name when she finally woke, Tala, meaning wolf. She flinched at first sight of him, pulling the blanket tight, fear burning in her eyes. But Luke only stepped back and said gently, "Ain't gonna hurt you. You're safe here." She stared at him long, then looked away, tears tracing her sunburned cheeks. No one had called her safe in a long, long time. By the second week, Tala began to walk again, though her body trembled with each step. She helped with chores around the ranch, feeding the chickens, fetching water, sweeping dust off the porch. Luke watched her from afar, never pushing, never demanding. The nights were quiet but heavy, the sound of wind through the dry grass, coyotes howling in the hills. Sometimes Luke found her outside, staring at the stars and murmuring in her tongue. He didn't understand, but he felt it. Grief, hope, and something like forgiveness. One evening, a storm rolled over the plains. Lightning cracked across the sky and the wind howled through the cabin walls. Tala woke screaming, trapped in her nightmares. Luke rushed to her side, holding her shaking hands. "You're here, you're all right," he whispered. She looked at him through tears, and for the first time she didn't pull away. When the storm quieted, she stayed close, her hand trembling against his chest as if to be sure he was real. The next morning, they found hoofprints near the ranch, not Luke's. Smoke curled from a distant ridge. Tala's face went pale. Her tribe had returned, maybe to finish what they'd begun. Luke loaded his rifle, jaw set. "If they come for you, they'll have to go through me," he said. She caught his sleeve, shaking her head, whispering, "They kill you. Go." But he only smiled faintly. "Ain't my first fight." When the riders came at dusk, the sky turned red as fire. 4 Apache warriors rode toward the cabin, shouting in their language. Luke stood on the porch, rifle steady. The leader dismounted. Tala's brother, she recognized him instantly. He barked orders, calling her by name. She stepped forward, ignoring Luke's warning hand. Tears streamed down her face as she spoke rapidly in Apache, her words carried by wind. The men hesitated, eyes shifting between her and the cowboy who dared to stand beside her. After long silence, the leader spat in the dirt and turned away. The riders left without another word, disappearing into the dusk. Luke lowered his rifle slowly, his heartbeat still wild. Tala sank to her knees, sobbing in relief. He knelt beside her, pulling her into his arms as thunder rolled far away. "It's over," he murmured. She looked up, touching his cheek softly. "No," she whispered, voice trembling. "It begins." Months passed. The ranch grew alive again. Fields greened, laughter returned. Luke built a second cabin near the stream, though she refused to stay apart. She called him Kohane, her protector. When spring came, she wore white doeskin, a necklace of eagle feathers. Luke stood before her under the open sky, hand trembling as he placed a simple silver ring on her finger. "Ain't never met anyone like you," he said softly. She smiled, eyes bright as sunrise. "You saved me," she whispered. But I saved you too." Years later, travelers passing through the territory spoke of the white rancher and his Apache wife, who lived in peace by the hills, of how they tamed wild horses, grew wheat where nothing once lived, and raised 2 children under the endless blue sky. And when storms swept the land, folks said they could still see 2 figures on horseback side by side, riding through lightning and rain, the man who found salvation in compassion, and the woman who turned survival into love.